All right, so this next topic is a little inside jungle. It's going to require a little bit of a reset. Now, I'm not going to rehash the entire thing, but I've got to go back for a second to make sure that if you're listening, you can follow along. Earlier this month, a legendary caller and a former Smack-Off champ named Silk Bra tweeted a pic of a beach volleyball game to his local police department in Huntington Beach. And he tweeted to the cops to, quote, come down and arrest these kooks, end quote. That was the tweet. A picture with that caption. That snitch job might have lived on Twitter exclusively and not seen the light of day beyond Twitter if not for Brad in Corona's telephone call about it the very next day right here.
Silk Bra in Huntington Beach took to Twitter to narc out 4 dudes playing beach volleyball. The dude added his local police department with the photo, and they responded as though they actually cared about this garbage. After that narking, Silk took a victory lap on the Petros and Money show, congratulating himself for keeping the town of Huntington Beach safe from people enjoying themselves outside. Silk, you need to chill out, brah. You're cracking, man. Narc.
Brah.
Narc.
Brah.
Narc.
Brah.
Narc, brah.
BIC, brah. There's your defending champ. But Silk Bra is a former champ. And Silk Bra has pretty much floated through the jungle for the past 2 decades. And for the most part, he's been the lovable beach bum. Yet he was quickly glossed a snitch, a narc, a communist, a socialist, and a rat. Now, I said it then, I'll say it now. I'm not taking sides. I'm just taking phone calls. Speaking of which, Silk did call in the very next day. And he didn't try to make an excuse. In fact, he doubled down on his efforts to clean up the beach by any means necessary, even if those means were tagging his local police department in a tweet with a picture of 4 volleyball players. Silk is not making excuses. He's not trying to explain it. He doubled down. And I'm not going to lie. I respect Narc Bra for not backing down. You may not, but I do. That narc has got principles. That rat has integrity. He's not coming off it. So, fast forward to this week. A lot has changed in America since Brad's telephone call. Now golf courses and restaurants and certain stores are beginning to slowly reopen. And as they do, they're trying to figure out exactly how they can run their business. And in the world that has changed, how can they do this while adhering to certain guidelines? In an agenda sent out to the Huntington Beach City Council, a few local business owners proposed that restaurants be allowed to open up seating outdoors. Now, that'd be a major step in the return to normalcy here in Cali. Every single restaurant in California has been takeout only. So a few places want approved outdoor seating. And in a proposal to the city council, these business owners cited a study from Lithuania in which outdoor seating at restaurants had been successful and safe. So they were quick to cite that study. The proposal in Huntington Beach was a topic at a town hall meeting, which was open to the public on Wednesday. And guess who in the hell showed up to voice his opinion on that matter? That's freaking right. The unofficial mayor of HB. And give this a listen. I'm talking about Narc Bra.
Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I've been here since 72, lived here my whole life. There's some people out there who don't even live here. I don't mind a phased reopening, that's fine, but there's been no enforcement of any of the guidelines. Mayor, I saw your video, which was great. You told people to pay attention to the guidelines of the beach, but nobody's enforcing it. I see in the proposal here from the 2 council members that it mentions strict rules and adherence to those rules, but who's going to enforce it? I also noticed that the example given was from Vilnius, Lithuania, and that's great. No disrespect to the Baltic republics, and my wife is Latvian descent, but we couldn't find an example west of the Mississippi. Whatever they did in Vilnius is going to be okay. Like I said, I don't mind a phased reopening, but there's been no enforcement. When 4th of July got out of hand, the city council and the police department, They enforced rules about drinking in your front lawn. People didn't like it, but the word got out. Don't come to Huntington. Don't burn couches. Don't destroy property. And now 4th of July is a great time in Huntington. All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Straight concerned citizen fire. Bro, if you could talk that kind of smack on this show, you would be Brad. You'd be a 10-time champ. Now, we can't play the video here, but know this. Silk Bra showed up to this town hall meeting exactly as you would expect. Close your eyes and envision Snitch Bra. What do you think he looks like? Exactly. High top Van sneakers, board shorts, a surf shirt, a Long Beach State hat, and an LA Chargers mask. Because nothing says take me seriously quite like showing up in board shorts and a Long Beach State hat. Silk even dropped what appeared to be a shaka bra hand gesture to the mayor and the city council as he dropped that microphone, left the microphone. Now, you might have some trouble believing that that was Silk, so I took the liberty of tightening up the audio just so you can be assured that it was really him, because I know some of you listening were like, it kind of sounds like him, but there are a couple of fake Silks, and the Silk I know does not have and this is, in fact, evidence that that was our Silk.
Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Bruh.
I've been here since 72, lived here my whole life. There's some people out there who don't even live here.
Bruh.
I don't mind a phased reopening. That's fine. But there's been no enforcement of any of the guidelines.
Bruh.
Mayor, I saw your video, which was great.
Bruh.
You told people to pay attention to the guidelines of the beach, but nobody's enforcing it.
Bruh.
I also noticed that the example given was from Vilnius, Lithuania.
Bruh.
And that's great. No disrespect to the Baltic republics. And my wife is Latvian descent.
My wife is still working at 100%. Her business is actually up about 65%.
But
Bruh.
we couldn't find an example west of the Mississippi.
Bruh.
Boy, I'll tell you, Silk, I know you're a concerned citizen, but why do you got to keep flexing on how well your wife's business is doing in the midst of this pandemic? And for you to get up in front of the city council and do it, it's one thing to do it here in the jungle, but for you to get up at a town hall meeting and tell those city council members that your wife's business is killing it, that's a bit much, brah. That's a bit much. But that was him. How do I know it was him? The numerous bras and the fact that he was again showing off about his wife's business. Did you notice how many times he also brought up his desire to see some damn enforcement? This dude does not want your guidelines. He wants your freaking hammer, HB.
There's been no enforcement of any of the guidelines, but nobody's enforcing it. But who's going to enforce it? There's been no enforcement. They enforced rules about drinking in your front lawn. Enforcement.
He ain't playing. You call him narc bra. I call him enforcer bra.
Bruh.
This guy wants enforcement, damn it. What good are rules if nobody is enforcing them? And how about my guy teeing off on the Baltic republics?
I also noticed that the example given was from Vilnius, Lithuania, and that's great. No disrespect to the Baltic republics, but we couldn't find an example west of the Mississippi. Whatever they did in Vilnius is going to be okay.
Fire. Man, those four walls were melting. Whenever someone says no disrespect intended, you know somebody is about to get disrespected, and somebody just did. Silk ain't having that study from Lithuania. That's not good enough for him. He wants some proven results this side of the Mississippi, and you better damn well get them for him, HB. Guess who else was there? Guess who else attended that meeting? I will give you a hint. If there is a smack-off champion in the building, who is always right behind him? My man, Richie Flores, a.k.a. Dick Flowers.
I'm not angry or anything. I just wanted to say good luck with putting it all back together for us. We appreciate it. I was reading through the agenda, and I'm looking through Google. I was just curious, this Lithuania, where did that come from exactly, and why is that an example? Or am I not allowed to ask a question?
Sir, we can't engage in a back and forth, so go ahead with your comments.
No, it's just interesting to me because the last thing I can find is May 7th, and the Lithuania reference is just really bizarre to me. Other than that, like I said, I support Huntington Beach, and good luck with what you do for us. We appreciate it, okay?
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate that.
Doesn't sound like you appreciate it at all, Richie. Check these dudes out. Man, they freaking hate that Lithuania study so much. Man, don't you ever bring in Baltic Republic stats in front of Silk and Richie. Man, this is HB, not the BR. This is HB, not freaking Lithuania.
Why is that an example?
Answer my question. And no, clones, I don't know if Flores wrote Silk's speech. Now, you might hate these guys for taking their narc act to City Hall. I'm going to go the other way. These two dudes, to me, are not narcs. They're not snitches. They are concerned citizens. They took time out of their day to go down to City Hall and let their voices be heard. You're killing them on Twitter. They're killing their elected officials in person. You tell me what's more impressive. It's a big difference. Tip of the hat to the concerned jungle dweller who wore a hat. A Long Beach State hat. Tip of the hat to concerned jungle dweller citizens of Huntington Beach. Way to show up. Way to show up and represent. Way to run smack on Lithuanian case studies.
No disrespect
way to dress
to the
up for the
Baltic
occasion.
Republics,
And way to hit the entire City Hall with shaka bra, hand gestures on the way out the door. Because you best believe that Dick Flowers did the same thing. Unless they were just flashing gang signs at him. No, they were shaka bra signs. You gotta love how the two tightest wound guys are giving hang loose signs on their way out the building. Keep doing you, Silk Bra. Keep doing you, Richie Bra. They may all hate you both, but I respect it.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate that.
No, she didn't. She did not appreciate those comments
Sir, we
at
can't
all.
engage in a back and forth, so go ahead with your comments.
Sir, we will not engage in a back and forth. Don't you ask us about the Lithuania studies that
no
we're
disrespect
citing.
to the Baltic republics, but
No disrespect to the Baltic republics.
no disrespect.
Did he then chase that with some of my best friends reside in the Baltic republics? I think what he said was my wife is of Latvian descent.
My wife is Latvian descent.
Yeah, not only is she of Latvian descent, but she's up 60% in the pandemic. How do I know that? Because Narc Bra says it every time he calls.
Her business is actually up about 65%.
But
65%, brah. My bad. Silk, brah. I got your back, dude. You know I do. You know I do. I got you, Silk. I got you. That was an incredible performance at City Hall, Silk. Good job. Well done. It might be you, me, and Richie against the JTP, but I'm here for you, Silk. I got you. Way to go. Way to go. And the other thing, I want to make this very clear. I think, and I might be wrong, but I don't think he's saying we can't have restaurants opening up their patios. I think what he's saying is we can do it, but we have to do it responsibly. We have to do it and follow guidelines. And you have to enforce the guidelines. It's not enough just to have the guidelines if you're not going to enforce the guidelines. Am I right, Snitch Bra?
enforcement.
I don't want to put words into your mouth, but it seems to me the one thing you're asking for, Rat, is enforcement. Am I right?
There's been no enforcement of any of the guidelines.
Unbelievable. Good job, Silk. Taking his act to City Hall. Your thoughts, your reaction. All right, now that you've heard him lay it out like that, and you've heard the conviction in his voice, do you still think he's a narc? Do you still think he's a rat? Do you still think he's a snitch? Do you still think he's dropping dimes on people? Or do you now understand him better? Do you like and respect what you just heard? This is not going well for Snitch Bra. Many of the clones went from not liking him to thinking he's the biggest bag who ever lived. I'm not one of them. Straight up, the guy didn't do anything wrong. Not only did he not do anything wrong, he did something right. He's a concerned citizen. Silk, it might be you and me against the world, but I got you. He didn't do anything wrong. But try telling that to the world. As an example, here is some of the reaction. Wells in the 720. Get off me. Signed Wells. No, just kidding. Get off me. No, the world to Wells. Get off me. You're crushing me. Just kidding, Wells. Get off me. Signed Lithuania.
I mean,
D-Rod.
seriously, dude. Just get off of me.
D-Rod in the 925. Took time out of their day. What the hell does a substitute teacher have to do in the shutdown? Make his wife lunch? At East Bay Troy tweets. Thanks for that, Jimmy. Any chance you have audio of Ira Craig speaking out on public restroom cleanliness? If it existed, I would have it, so no. SA Sports Honk tweets, Rome, the HB City Council would have taken Silk's and Dick Flowers' comments more seriously if they had shown up in the head and ass of a horse costume. David McRibbon 12 tweets, Vilnius rules for everyone, brah. War no enforcement. Stucknuts in. I left the XR4 Ti to get away from the clones. FML. Signed Councilman Robert Dasmati. At OM Glancy. I am waiting for someone to run Narc Bra during that rant.
Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I've been here since 72, lived here my whole life. There's some people out there who don't even live here. I don't mind a phased reopening, that's fine, but there's been no enforcement of any of the guidelines. Mayor, I saw your video, which was great. You told people to pay attention to the guidelines of the beach, but nobody's enforcing it. I see in the proposal here from the two council members that it mentions strict rules and adherence to those rules.
I want to correct something I said. I said that he showed up and addressed a council member. He addressed the mayor like that. He lit the mayor up and a couple of council members. Not only did he address the mayor with that disdain and disrespect, he called the mayor, wait for it, a kook in a tweet after the meeting. Damn. Silk Bra.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, kooks. You're all a bunch of kooks.
Kook.
Good evening, Mayor Kook. Good evening, Mayor McKook.
Kook.
1-800-636-8686. Man, I thought for sure I'd get right to Benny, but I'm having a tough time doing that because of Silk McKook.
Kook.
What do you got here, Adam? Let's go to Arkansas. Jake. Hey, Jake, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Great. Perfect.
So, some months back, my 12-year-old daughter, Rowan, and I, we had a fortune of hearing Silk Bra on the show. And she immediately turns to me and asks why this little kid is calling into my talk show. And I had to explain that that's sort of his shtick, and he's just trying to be funny. And, you know, so the rest of the night I was treated to, hey, what's for dinner, brah? What's up, brah? Good night, brah. And we had a moment. So Silk Bra was my champion, completely, 100%. Some years ago, I lived in Scottsdale, Arizona, and ran across Mike Tyson. This is right after he got busted for DUI. And he was sitting on a park bench, changing his hand, waiting for the bus. I ran up to him, was like, hey, man, is there anything I can do for you? And he just said, no, I'm doing okay. And so exchanged a couple pleasantries, and I was on my way. Long story short, Jim, I know what it looks and what it sounds like to be a fallen champion. And Silk Bra is a fallen champion. That tweet the other week was his Buster Douglas, and everything I've heard since then has just been reeks of Peter McNeely. I don't know, maybe in another 20 years, we might get some smack videos he's posting and be like, dang, that old man still got it, but probably not. That's all I got, Jim. War you, war peace, war Silk Bra getting that face tat and completing this downward spiral. R.I.P., brah.
Jake, I was going to say, I have no idea what the hell you just said at all. I didn't understand any part of that phone call until the very end when you got that plane down. What you're saying is he's a shot fighter, a former champion, a guy falling upon hard times. War Silk getting that face tat, like Mike, and completing the downward spiral, except for one thing. Have you seen Mike lately? I'm not one of those guys saying, damn, Mike looks amazing. Damn, Mike should fight. Mike should not fight. The last thing Mike should do right now is fight. Most of all, fight me. I don't want that. Mike looks great. For a guy in his 50s, Mike is leaned out. Mike can still hit. Mike still has power. Mike still has hand speed. You don't put a 50-something-year-old guy against a top heavyweight. That's not what I'm saying. Nor do I want to see Mike fight other aged-out heavyweights. I'm just saying the guy looks really good. He's put in some time. He's put in some work. You can tell. So Mike's not a guy who's taking a knee, who's on a park bench or a bus bench. Mike looks good. Like I said, Silk is taking some. I'm fine with Silk's act. I'm fine that he showed up at the city council town hall meeting. I'm fine that he addressed the mayor looking like that and sounding like that. Because I'm fine with the message. What the guy says to me is fair. It's accurate. It's right. Fine. If you want to loosen things up and reopen the city or the area or the region, that's fine, but let's do it responsibly. Let's do it with a plan. And if there are guidelines, let's be sure to enforce the guidelines. That's the guy's, in effect, his message. I've got no problem with that. I got you, Silk. Anybody else? Man, he and Dick, man, they hate that Lithuanian study, don't they? Like, don't bring that crap around here. What's that got to do with us here in HB?
Or am I
Silk
not
could
allowed
not.
to ask a
But
question?
I'll bet you anything. Silk, as laid back as Silk is, I bet he was just puffing up on the way to that meeting. You just watch. You watch this fire I'm going to drop on that kook, the mayor. You wait till I hit her right between the eyes with, hey, don't you have anything west of the Mississippi? And just so you know, my wife is of Latvian descent, and her business is up 65% during the pandemic. Lithuania? What, is there no case study from Laos that you want to bring up? Silk.